We've also now have the bubonic plague as an outbreak in the United States. We have a case of Black Death confirmed in Colorado. It's also been confirmed in China. And what we know is that it spread basically by rodents, such as mice, rats, even squirrels. Now, this is not the first time we've heard of the Black Death. We know it as the plague, the bubonic plague, the great mortality, the deadliest pandemic recorded in human history. And we have here a map telling us what took place in about an 8-year period, the spread of Black Death in Europe and the Near East. And it looks like from the color coding that it came by way of, I would say, shipfarers, ship traders, and who knows, maybe the rats on the ship were infected by something coming from Russia, the Caspian Sea. Even I wouldn't be surprised if it even came from the trade routes from China. Now, you can see that they estimated the deaths anywhere between 25 million to 200 million in that 8-year period. That's how bad it was. So the Black Death resulted in the deaths of up to 25 to 200 million people in Eurasia and North Africa, peaking in Europe from 1347 to 1351. The plague is a disease caused by the bacterium Yersinia pestis. The infection most commonly resulted in bubonic plague, but can cause septicemic or pneumonic plagues. That is, of course, obviously you turn black because of it's all in your blood. The Black Death was the beginning of the second plague pandemic, creating religious, social, and economic upheavals and with profound effects on the course of European history. It most likely originated in Central Asia or East Asia, from where it traveled along the Silk Road. And as we know, the Silk Road went all the way to the ends of China. So it reached Crimea by 1347. And from there, as we see in the map, it was most likely carried by fleas living on the black rats that traveled on Genovese merchant ships, spreading throughout the Mediterranean basin, reaching Africa, Western Asia, wherever those ships traded, all along the Mediterranean. They even traded to the British Isles, as we know. Constantinople, Sicily, Italian peninsula. The Black Death was the second disaster affecting Europe during the late Middle Ages, the first one being the Great Famine. That Great Famine, from 1315 to 17, was the first of a series of large-scale crises that struck Europe in the early 14th century. Most of Europe was affected. The famine caused millions of deaths over an extended number of years, marked a clear end to the period of growth and prosperity. So now what's happening in the United States? So forget China. I mean, we're never being told the truth from there. They are a communist country and they cover up and they decide what news will be leaked out. So the bubonic plague outbreak confirmed in Colorado. In the U.S. amid fears of an outbreak of the disease, Black Death. The plague is most commonly transmitted to humans by rodents, as we said, and fleas via bites and scratches. Now, I hope these fleas don't go on our pets. That would be terrible. Now, bubonic plague, I guess we should keep our pets from roaming around in the fields where squirrels and mice and rats could be roaming around. Now, bubonic plagues caused by the bacterium Yersinia pestis, as we said, can cause flu-like symptoms, including fever, chills, headache, and feeling weak. Symptoms usually last for up to 7 days and is effectively treated with antibiotics, but if left untreated, it can turn into a more severe form of trigger pneumonia. In the statement by the JCPH, it said plague is an infectious disease caused by the bacteria Yersinia pestis and can be contracted by humans and household animals if proper precautions are not taken. So there you go, even the pets. The health body urged anyone showing signs of the disease to contact their doctor. The JCPH said symptoms of plague may include sudden onset of high fever, chills, headache, nausea, and extreme pain and swelling of lymph nodes occurring within 2 or 7 days after exposure. Plague can be effectively treated with antibiotics when diagnosed early, and anyone experiencing symptoms like this should consult their doctors. And as a precaution, the health authority urges pet owners to prevent their animals from being in contact or eating wild animals to prevent any possible transmission of the disease. Now, those living close to wild animal habitats are also urged to consult the vet about flea control. The fresh outbreak comes after health officials in Mongolia said a 15-year-old boy lost his life from this disease. The National Center for Zoonotic Diseases, NCZD, said the teenager from the western province of Govi Altai died from eating marmot meat. So obviously, what can you say? This is also, when we were reading the Holy Bible, there are certain animals that we cannot eat. And one of the classes of animals are, of course, bats. Another is, of course, animals such as rodents. Now, 5 other districts in the border with China have since been placed in quarantine for the plague. Earlier this month, 2 others tested positive for this disease, bubonic plague, in the neighborhood province of Kovd. And according to the Center for Disease Control Prevention, there is an average 7 human cases of bubonic plague every year. Last week, the WHO said it was carefully monitoring the spread, but it was not high risk. Spokesman Margaret Harris said bubonic plague has been with us and is always with us for centuries. We're looking at the case numbers in China. It's being well managed, and at the moment we're not considering it high risk, but we're watching it and monitoring it carefully. This is on Express UK by Luke Hawker. If you'd like to join me on my Patreon account, you will hear content not covered by mainstream media. These riveting stories will be based on my research, and I will state my opinions and give my personal insight on diverse and controversial subjects and world events not covered by mainstream media, and not supported by YouTube guidelines. So whatever I have on my Patreon, most of those will not be on my YouTube channel. Please consider becoming a member today. More of the most significant and important videos will be on my Patreon channel. Your support helps me to continue my research and keeps this YouTube channel alive. And we depend on your support, your generous charity, because we help economically challenged families here in Athens, Greece, in Kapota, and we also help the young generation with university tuition and the community around our church. Thank you.